Cellular respiration takes place in all living cells. Glucose is broken down, releasing the energy stored in its bonds. This is used to produce ATP, adenosine triphosphate. Adenosine is a base. It has three phosphate groups and phosphate groups, and it has riboses, ribose, ribose, um, pentose sugar has a pentagonal shape, so I guess. Glucose plus oxygen plus carbon yields carbon dioxide in water, and that's the equation for cellular respiration. And for the fermentation of lactic acid, its glucose yields lactic acid and lactate. And glucose for with the ethanol fermentation yields ethanol and carbon dioxide or CO2. Then fermentation is anaerobic. It takes place in the absence of oxygen. So no oxygen is needed. There are three stages of aerobic cellular respiration. And the first is glycolysis. The second is the Krebs cycle, or the citrus cycle. If you've ever seen that before, it's the same thing. And the electron transport chain. So all this stuff takes place in the mitochondrion. Um, that's where all of them take place. So yeah. All right. So as you can see, NADH and FADH2 are coenzymes that can accept electrons. So these are the stages of cellular respiration. Now, glycolysis doesn't require oxygen. Um, glucose is converted to two pyruvate molecules, which makes some ATP as well. And then the Krebs cycle is many redox reactions. It produces ATP and carbon dioxide. And NADH and FADH, they both go to the electron chain. And the electron transport chain involves oxidative phosphorylation and chemiomosis, which is like osmosis with chemicals, produces the most ATP and produces water. Some heat is also released, which is used by endotherms to regulate body temperature. And here's a closer look at the electron transport chain. So NADH and FADH transport electrons to the electron transport chain. This is a series of proteins embedded in the inner mitochondrial membrane. As electrons pass along it, an electrochemical gradient of protons, hydrogen ions is established. The flow of hydrogen ions back through ATP synthase by chemiomosis drives the formation of ATP from ADP and inorganic phosphate. This is known as oxidative phosphorylation. The final electron acceptor is oxygen. It combines with electrons and hydrogen ions to form water, H2O. So the electron transport chain, that's that right there. And we have the intermembrane space, the matrix, ATP synthase, which is where all the electrons travel, and you know, no, electrons travel through this area right here. So they go through like photosystem, um, 1 and 2, and then that's where the hydrogen ions would go, and that's how ATP is produced. Um, how does ATP work? ATP is like a full battery. It is stored energy created by an unstable bond between its second and third phosphate groups. When the cells need energy, this bond is broken, and the third phosphate group is released along with energy for cell work. The molecule is now called ADP, adenosine diphosphate, which means two, because it only has two phosphate groups. And this is the diagram of ATP and how it works. Alright, so respiration versus fermentation. So, aerobic respiration, let's see, number 3 has 3 main stages, yes. Number 2 is it requires oxygen. Number 6 is oxygen is the final electron acceptor. Yeah, we learned it last page. So yes, that is true. Number 7 produces lots of ATP. Yes, it does. And 13 is products are water and carbon dioxide, which is true. Next is number 1, which is produces ATP, which is they both produce ATP. Number 4, they both break down glucose. Number 8, they both have glycosis as their first stage, which is true. And number 10, use electron carriers. Yep, they both do. Alright, so for number 5, on the fermentation side, it produces a small amount of ATP, yes, it does. Pyruvate, a derivative of yes, that is true. And 12. Products are lactic acid, lactate, or ethanol, carbon dioxide. Yes, that is true. Fermentation. So, learn something about how ATP works and also about cellular respiration and the different types. So, yeah.